Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Monday. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for a 5x5. If you haven't seen 5x5 before, it's one of my favourite things that we do all week. The idea is I talk about 5 different subjects. I give myself 5 minutes to talk about each subject. There is a timer at the bottom of the screen. When the timer reaches 0, I move on to the next subject. It's quick, it's snappy, and you never know what you're going to get. And today, I'm doing another special. I'm actually doing a special on one of my favourite creators of Magic, Henry Evans. Now, Henry Evans is from Argentina. He is a FISM world champion. He won an award at FISM in 2000, I think it was, and he has been creating Magic for a very long time. He brought out 2 sets of DVDs with L&L, which at the time were absolutely groundbreaking, and he has also released a lot of standalone Magic throughout the years. I do a lot of Henry Evans routines in my act. You've probably seen some of them on Magic Lives. Henry Evans is fantastic. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to be looking and performing some of my favourite Henry Evans tricks. We're going to spotlight some other Henry Evans tricks, and we're even going to talk about what we can learn from watching Henry Evans perform. I think this is going to be a really cool 5x5, but let me know in the comments down below what you think, and we're going to kick things off by performing one of my favourite Henry Evans tricks. Okay, I've talked about this on the channel before, but when you're actually performing close up in the real world, so to speak, the important thing is thinking about an opener, which has to be quick, it has to be visual. I've done videos on openers before, but quick and visual is kind of 2 of the most important things, especially if you're doing card Magic. You don't want to be that guy that just pulls out a deck of cards and goes, pick a card, any card, because a lot of laymen are going to think they've seen that before. So you need a good deck production. Now, I've talked about deck productions on the channel before. In my opinion, this trick that I'm about to show you, 3D advertising by Henry Evans, it is one of the, if not the best deck production on the market. And the reason is, all you need is this, which is a what looks like a catalogue for Bicycle. And you have this in your pocket. It can either be your outside pocket, it can be your inside jacket pocket. If you're not wearing a jacket, it'll even fit in a trouser pocket, and you're good to go. It's an immediate reset, and you left producing a regular deck of cards. Also, there's not really any angles to speak of. It is, in my opinion, the perfect opener when you're doing a card set. So let me show it you first of all. I'll perform it for you, and then once I've performed it, I'll talk about why you should add this to your act. So, how I perform it is I would go into it like this. I'd walk over to the table and say, hey guys, my name's Craig, I'm the magician. I'm going to do some card tricks for you today. I can tell you're very, very excited about this. In all seriousness, magicians take playing cards very, very seriously. I know to you, it might be that you've got a deck of cards at home and it's that crusty deck of cards that you've had for 10 years. Yes, I'm talking to you, sir. You know that you've got that. Well, I don't. You see, I think about cards all the time. I buy a lot of playing cards, and I actually buy my cards from a place called Bicycle. Now, you might not have heard of Bicycle before. They're big over in America. These cards are made by the Cincinnati Playing Card Company in Ohio. And this is actually their catalogue. Magicians get excited about stuff like this, which is ridiculous, but we do. As you can see on here, we've got mini decks, we've got blue decks, we've got red decks, we've even got black decks, which are very rare. You can probably see the black deck here. I have to be honest, my favourite deck isn't the black deck, it isn't the green deck, it's the blue deck. That's my favourite colour. So if I just do this, I can actually make that pack of cards right there become visible. And I can now take these cards out, I can take them out, I can give them to you for shuffling, and we can move on with the trick. And that's my presentation. Now, when you produce these cards right here, this is a regular deck of 52 playing cards. There's nothing gimmicked about it. It is a regular deck of 52 cards. If you want them to examine the card box, they can examine the card box. Just by doing one little move, the card box can be examined. This, when I produce the cards, and I'm doing this in the real world, so to speak, I give them this catalogue immediately, because this is the thing I've found from doing this hundreds of times. This is the thing that they want to examine, because they saw a picture right there, and now that picture has become a real pack of cards. It is a brilliant opener, and from a reset point of view, all I have to do is put the cards back into the case, and within 5 seconds, as I'm walking over to the next table, I can reset this for the next table. From an angles point of view, there's very little angles. When I bring this out, if you're looking directly from behind, it's not a great angle. Sides, front, absolutely fine. If you're looking directly from behind, it's not the greatest angle in the world, but if I bring this into my body like this, I'm covering the back angle. And the actual production, boom, it looks so visual. I can't tell you how important it is to have a really good deck production if you're going into a series of card routines. And this, for me, just shows Henry's clever thinking. There's lots of different ways of producing a deck of cards, and let's be honest, most of them involves quite heavy sleight of hand. You're probably going to be needing to do some sort of palming. You're going to be needing to maybe even do some sleeving. The only other deck production I can think of that's as good as this is Sudden Deck 3 by David Regal, which I do, but in all honesty, I think that this is just as good, if not better, than Sudden Deck 3. And I've talked about this on the channel before, but one thing that you have to think about when you're actually performing in the real world is you have to think about the hook. How do you hook the audience in? How do you get people interested in your performance? Well, I love the hook to this. You know, you bring out this catalogue and you talk about, I'm obsessed about playing cards. Over here in the UK, at any rate, most laymen, they don't think about buying playing cards all the time. So you bring out this catalogue and you show it and you go, look, I've got this this catalogue here. It's got a whole bunch of different cards on there. And then you've got that production. It's incredible. And I'm telling you, if you've never done it before, when you have a picture that comes to life and everything's examinable, it's great. This is one that Henry released as a standalone item. A lot of people haven't heard of this, but it's one of my favourite Henry Evans effects. It's called 3D advertising, and it's available from all good dealers. Okay, I'm going to share with you now my favourite Henry Evans trick. Now, I remember first seeing this on his first DVD set. He put it out on the first L&L DVD set. He put out a 3 set of DVDs, then a 2 set of DVDs. And I think it was on volume 2. And I remember seeing this, and I was absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe what happened, and it's his rising card. And I've talked about this on the channel before. I've performed it on Magic Lives before, but in my opinion, Henry Evans' rising card is one of the, if not the best rising card on the market. It is absolutely incredible. And one of the reasons it's so good is because it's completely hands off. The spectator holds onto the box, which I'd never seen before. I had actually Kundalini Rising by Jeff McBride is the only other, or Box Monster by Nate Cranzo, are two that kind of have a similar feel. But both of those, you need an external gimmick that you have to take and bring in and then ring out afterwards that's not part of the deck. With this, you've got one gimmicked card in the deck. On the DVD, Henry tells you how to make that gimmick card, but he does sell it as a standalone item. In fact, I'm going to tell you how you can save money on buying these in a minute. You're going to thank me for this. But first of all, let me perform the routine for you. Obviously, I haven't got a spectator here with me. I've got Sarah behind the camera. She's going to help me. But let me perform the routine for you first of all. So, Sarah?
Yes.
You're going to be my glamorous assistant for this. I hope you don't mind.
Okay.
52 cards. Which one would you like? It's completely up to you. Can you see them all there? It's totally up to you.
Can I have the...
I'm going to sign your name in it, so...
5 of Hearts.
That one right there?
Yes.
And I'm just going to put your initials, SLP. And I'm going to be very careful. You don't want me to mess this table up anymore, do you? Our new table. She told me off. She said, you better be careful with that table, didn't you, Sarah?
I did.
So, here's what we're going to do. Sarah's picked a card. I'm going to take the deck. Now, at this point, Sarah could have shuffled the cards beforehand. She could have done anything. I'm going to pop that card down in the middle of the deck. Now, you can see that card really is going in the middle. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And I'm going to put this whole half deck of cards into the box here. And now, at this point, what would happen is Sarah would hold on to this. Now, obviously, she's behind the camera. She's not going to. But this is what's so awesome about the Henry Evans Rising card. At this point, the spectator holds onto the card box. And you just tell them to concentrate on the card and blow. And as they do, what happens, hopefully with any luck, do you see one card rising out?
We do.
This happens in the spectator's hand. You then immediately take their card out and show it's their signed card. You then tell them to tip out the rest of the cards and examine the ones on the table, look at the card case. Immediately, everything is examinable. That's what makes this so good. It is unbelievably clean. It is that clean, and you can repeat it immediately with a different card. Like I say, there's one gimmicked card in this deck that can stay in there and it won't affect anything else you do. If anything, it's actually a good thing to have, because this gimmicked card also allows me, it kind of works as a bit of a crimp card as well. So this gimmicked card, I can use it as a crimp card and I can cut to it. So I'll just cut the gimmick card to the bottom. So I have this in my deck an awful lot. Now, there are 3 ways to get this rising card gimmick, and I'm gonna save you some money here, guys, because I think this is the best rising card on the market, and I think I talked about it in a Magic Stuff recently. So the first way you can do it is by getting Henry Evans' DVD set. I think it's on volume 2 of his first DVD set. You can get that as a download. You can watch it and you can make it. He teaches you how to make the gimmick. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but you'd be able to make it. If you can make like a flap card, it's not a flap card, it's got nothing to do with flaps, but if you can make a flap card, you can do this. That's the first option. The second option is get it as a standalone trick, which is fine. You can do that. I think it's like £20 or something, and you get the gimmicked card ready made. Or you can do this. Ninja tip here. Buy a Henry Evans trick called Automatic Kings. This is also a great trick. It's not one I do, but the whole idea is he has 4 kings. He puts them in different parts of the deck, and with no manipulation, they fly out the deck. It looks really, really good, but it's the same gimmick, but you need 4 gimmicked cards. So you buy Automatic Kings, which is only slightly more money than the rising card, and you actually get 4 rising card gimmicks. So you can put 3 to one side and keep them nice and safe. Use that one, and if you lose it or whatever happens to it, break it, you've still got another 3. So if I were you, if you like this trick, I would get yourself the download so you can learn the routine. Get yourself the download of volume 2 of his DVD set, and then get Automatic Kings, and you'll have 4 gimmicks, and that'll last you a lifetime. But guys, this is an amazing trick. Rising card by Henry Evans. Okay, so I want to take this opportunity on this 5x5 to talk to you about something very, very important. A really important lesson that we as magicians can learn from watching Henry Evans. And I really encourage you to watch Henry Evans. I encourage you to get the down. I've said it a few times in this video, but please get his downloads, watch his DVDs, watch his performances. He was a big influence on my career when I watched his DVD set very early on. And one of the things I think that we can learn from Henry Evans is the most important thing is not technical skill. The most important thing is the impact on the audience and how we can make it entertaining. And what I mean by that is, let's look at the 3 tricks that I've actually performed on this video. I've performed the rising card, which is completely self-working. There is absolutely no skill to it at all. I've performed 3D advertising, which is completely self-working. There's no skill to it at all. I've performed searching jokers. There's absolutely no skill to this at all. You can do all 3 of those tricks within seconds of learning them or buying them. But that is a common thread that you see throughout all of Henry Evans' tricks. It doesn't matter what it is. Modern Times is something that a lot of people perform of Henry Evans, which is a color changing deck where he's got a deck of cards, and then immediately the box disappears and goes into your pocket, and then boom, the deck changes from red to blue, and everything's examinable. I mean, it's self-working. The card does the work for you. The cards do the work for you. He's not afraid to use gimmicks. He's not afraid to use gimmickry. But you know what? The people that are watching him wouldn't think, oh, that guy's not a real magician. I saw in a forum the other day, can you consider yourself a real magician if you only use self-working tricks and gimmickry, and instead you don't learn sleight of hand and you just learn gimmicks? Can you consider yourself a real magician? And there was a debate going back and forth on this forum. My attitude is simple. Absolutely, 100% yes, you can consider yourself a real magician. And that's what I think that we need to learn from Henry Evans. A lot of people, the purists, will spend hours and hours and hours developing routines that require a lot of skill. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love practicing sleight of hand. I love learning new moves that I might not ever do in my actual working set. And I love when I'm actually going out performing. I love doing really complicated routines and getting away with this stuff right underneath the spectator's nose. I get that. But the one thing that we have to learn from watching Henry Evans perform is it's okay for something to be self-working. It's okay to use a gimmick. What is the best way to achieve the result that we want to achieve from the spectator's point of view. Because if you're being hired to perform for spectators, or if you're in a situation where you're performing to an audience, surely you owe it to your audience to do the best possible performance that you can do. And the best possible performance might use a gimmick. It might not, but it might. So let's take 3D advertising as a perfect example. 3D advertising is an amazing production of a pack of cards. Could I achieve a production with a pack of cards in a different way? Yeah, I could Tenkai Palmer box and I could do that sort of stuff. But what's ultimately the most visually impressive thing that I can show to my audience? And that's what you need to think. Don't be afraid of using gimmicks. Don't be afraid of incorporating gimmicks into your magic. Don't be that person who's the purist that's just using pure sleight of hand. Use a double-backed card. Use a double-faced card. Use a gimmick. Go down that route. And ultimately, please remember, this is a guy who represented his country at FISM and won with a whole bunch of stuff that's very, very easy to do. Now, Henry Evans has skills. Let me tell you, I know, I've seen some of the stuff that he does that involves sleight of hand. He's magnificent. Some of his coin work is absolutely incredible. But most of his work that you see him do, it's self-working, or it uses gimmicks and it's very minimal skill. You know, I talked earlier on about the fastest trick in the world where the handkerchief jumps from over to here. It's pretty much it uses a sonata gimmick and a pull. So all you have to do is let go over here and shake over here and the job's done. But there is absolutely no way to achieve that same effect with anything else other than the way that Henry's done it. So if we can learn one thing from watching Henry Evans, don't be afraid to include and incorporate gimmicks into your act if it makes the routines that you perform better. Okay, I want to share with you one more Henry Evans item. This is a marketed trick. This was never put on any of his DVDs that I'm aware of, but this is a marketed trick that's flown under everyone's radar for some reason. But it's absolutely amazing. It's called sandwich jokers, and like a lot of Henry's stuff, it's completely self-working. There is no skill whatsoever, but it's like one of the best progressive sandwich routines I've ever seen. It uses two decks of cards, and I'll tell you right now, the red deck is a regular deck. The blue deck, although it's 90% regular, it's set up to do this trick. So if I do this, what I typically will do is I will have the blue deck with me. I'll have the red deck. I'll have been doing some other stuff with the red deck. And then what I'll do is I'll say, well, let's see if we can do one more thing, and I'll bring this blue deck out and I'll show the blue deck. This is a great follow-on trick to a sandwich routine. So I want you to imagine that you've just done your favorite sandwich routine where you've had two cards, find a selected card maybe a couple of times. The reason this is a great follow-on to a sandwich routine is I think in order for people to appreciate how good this trick is, they have to understand the concept of two cards catching a selected card. So I always follow a two-phase sandwich routine with this trick. It'll all make sense in a minute, but I'm going to get Sarah to help me. Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
I've got two packs of cards here, okay?
Yeah.
We have a red pack right here, and I have a blue pack right here. Is that fair?
Okay.
Good stuff. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take out of the red deck the two jokers. Joker number one and Joker number two. We're going to take the two jokers. Are they on camera? Can you see that okay? Is everything fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And in a minute, you're going to pick a card from that deck. And you're going to get a free choice. You can pick any card you want to. But in a minute, you're going to pick a card from that deck. And what's going to happen, and let me tell you what's going to happen. The two jokers, whatever card you pick from that deck, the two jokers are going to actually find the same card in the blue deck in slow motion. I know it sounds crazy, but that's going to happen. So first of all, we need a card picked, Sarah. So as I cut cards onto the table, anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There, do you want one more card? Are you okay there?
That's fine.
So I'm going to put this card here. This card right there, that is your selected card. I'm going to put the rest of the deck aside. We're just going to use that red card there. Can you keep an eye on that for me? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember I took out the two red jokers, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to put the two red jokers here into the blue deck. I'm going to put one right near the very, very top. And I'm going to put one right near the very, very bottom. Can you see that?
Yeah.
One near top, one near the bottom. Now watch. All I have to do is leave the deck on the table and snap. And when I do, I want you to watch what happens. Sarah, check this out. Look. Now, if I spread through, I want you to see that the joker has gone from the top.
Yeah.
And it's actually about 15 cards down. But not only that, the other joker has gone from the bottom and it's about 15 cards up.
Right, okay.
Which is kind of weird. You can actually see that those cards are actually rising up through the pack. Now, let me do that again. Look, I'm going to push them in. I want to see the situation here. You can see exactly where they are. I put the cards on the table. I do nothing but snap. And when I do, look at what happens now, Sarah. The cards have gone from here and down in the middle now. Look, that's where they are.
Okay.
Right there in the middle. Check that out. Isn't that weird? Like, seriously, that is absolutely crazy. Right there in the middle. There's your two jokers. And they've caught one card. Let's have a look at the card they've caught. They've caught the 8 of Hearts.
Yeah.
And the card that you picked from the red deck, the 8 of Hearts. How good is that? Now, when Henry does this, he spreads the cards out on the table. But I wanted to show you this can be done in the hands. Because although he doesn't talk about this on the download, it's very easy to just spread the cards in your hands like I did. And if you do that, you don't need a table. You can actually do everything. When I do this, I do it as a walk-around piece, and I do it without a table. But as I say, the progressive sandwich routine, the slow-motion sandwich routine, where the cards are coming together to find a selected card, is a great plot anyway, especially if you follow a normal sandwich routine with it. But by using red jokers in a blue-back deck, it just gives the routine complete clarity. They know exactly what's meant to happen. They see it happen because the red contrasts with the blue, and they anticipate that final moment, and it looks so good. And at the end, it's all examinable, which is really good. So it's called Searching Jokers, and it's available from all good Magic dealers. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to talk to you about 3 of the best Henry Evans tricks that you might not have seen before. As I say, this is a guy that has performed so much magic. He's created so much magic. And there's a whole bunch of different tricks that I could do. And when I was researching this, I was thinking, I should include that one. I should include that one. There's so many different tricks that this guy's created that he's not even marketed, that he's just put in his DVD sets. And I just want to reiterate, you really should buy the downloads or the physical DVDs of his sets that he bought out through an L&L. They're brilliant. But I want to highlight 3 tricks that you might not have seen Henry do before that really is worth looking into. Before I do, I want to give you a few honourable mentions. The first honourable mention is the fusion bag, which is a change bag, right? And instead of actually having, it's a 3-way change bag, and one of the sections, the lining is red and yellow. So it allows you to do this really cool routine where a handkerchief is changing. You've got 2 different blue handkerchiefs, and you say you're going to make them change places. And eventually what happens, the whole idea is you want the handkerchiefs turning red and yellow. But as part of the routine, the inside of the bag is turning red and yellow. Now, some of you might know, I run a company called Non-Stop Kids Entertainment, and a lot of the entertainers in Non-Stop Kids actually do the fusion bag because I recommend it to everyone. It is an amazing kids prop. Another honourable mention is 10 exact cuts, which is a wonderful card routine that he used to win at FISM 2000, where he's got a pack of cards that's shuffled and he just cuts the deck 10 times. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then in the action of cutting the cards, and it's that quick, it just goes boom, 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 boom. And in that moment, the first packet has got 1 card, the second packet's got 2 cards, the third packet's got 3 cards, the fourth packet's got 4 cards, so on and so forth. It's amazing, it really is. And then he squares everything up and he cuts again, and he's separated out all of the suits from a shuffled deck of cards. It's brilliant. So there's a few honourable mentions, but I want to talk to you about, in my opinion, he's the 3 best tricks. And in third place, I'm going to give you Silk Through Transparent Bag. Now, in my opinion, Henry Evans has pioneered the work with the reel and with the Sonata gimmick. And some of the stuff that he does with the Sonata gimmick and with the reel is unbelievable. He's got this amazing routine. He calls it the fastest trick in the world, where he's got a silk handkerchief here that he's holding in his one hand. This hand is seen empty, and boom, it just immediately disappears from here and jumps over here. And he's using a reel in a very unique way, and he's using a Sonata gimmick in a very unique way, and it looks the closest thing that you're going to actually see to the teleporter in Star Trek. But using that same principle, he's also got silk through transparent bag, where he's got this see-through bag. He gets the spectator to put his hand in the bag. They wrap elastic bands around it. He can see his hand the whole time. He then takes out a silk handkerchief, does this, and it's inside the bag, and you can examine his hand. You can see it inside there. The construction is absolutely fantastic. So that's third place. Second place, I'm going to go for vacuum cleaner cards. And I'm not talking about Paul Harris's vacuum cleaner cards. This is just absolutely, completely and totally bonkers. He takes one of those handheld vacuum cleaners. So someone picks a card, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on, and he's got a prediction on the handkerchief, but it's a blank card. It's a blank card on a sort of a handkerchief, and it's not the card. And then what happens is he uses this handheld vacuum cleaner to vacuum this handkerchief up, and the handkerchief disappears. It looks absolutely amazing. The end of this whole thing is when he opens up the vacuum cleaner and the silk handkerchief's inside, and now it's printed with the spectator selected card. Absolutely incredible. Such a really amazing routine. And then in first place, the best Henry Evans trick, in my opinion, one that went on his DVD set, but also one that you can buy as a standalone item, is Tribute to Verone. And what this is a shrinking deck, but it's not like a Rob Bromley style shrinking deck, or a John Kennedy shrinking deck style thing, or John Cornelius shrinking deck. It's more of, it's a completely different idea. And the whole thing is, he has this deck of cards, he opens up the cards, he takes the cards out, the box shrinks to like a tiny little box, which you give to someone to hold on to. You then get somebody to pick a card. They pick a card, and the card disappears, and it appears in the tiny little box that they've been holding on to. It's such a strong walk-around piece. I've done it on a Magic Live, so you can go and look at it. It's called Tribute to Verone. It is, in my opinion, the best trick that Henry Evans has ever created. So there you go, guys. That's a 5x5 on one of my favourite creators of magic, Henry Evans. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you haven't checked out some of Henry Evans' effects, please do so. The guy is super creative, and everything he does is absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen his DVD sets through L&L Publishing, please rush out and get them. They are now available on all good dealers as a download. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you want me to do a 5x5 special on another creator, let me know and I'll do the research. It takes a while to put these shows together because I have to research them. But let me know if there's a creator that you want me to actually do one of these on. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to be back tomorrow with another Magic Live, and I'll be back with a Talk Magic. So I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.